All right, let's take a turn now back to our exclusive interview with President Obama. Earlier this hour, you heard the president's take on the carnage in Syria and Egypt and helping students pay for college. And we're going to revisit those and other news-making topics like government surveillance and the budget battle later in the show, so stay tuned for that. But during the one-on-one with the president in Syracuse, New York yesterday, we also got to discuss some lighter issues, like what it's like raising two girls. One's a teen, one's coming into her teens, the new dog, and maybe most importantly, the president's take on our school clerk in Georgia. And I say our because we really just embraced Antoinette Tuff because of how she stood up to a gunman and literally helped just avert a disaster. Take a listen. So we have this horrible situation that was luckily avoided down in Georgia. We saw something that we see too much of, and then we saw something that we almost never see. Yeah. We saw someone who was mentally ill, that somehow wasn't being properly monitored, and they find a weapon, and they almost created a tragedy. But then we saw Antoinette Tuff. What do you think about her?
She was remarkable. I talked to her today.
I learned from the best president in the world.
Because when I heard the 911 call and read the sequence of events, I thought, here's somebody who's not just courage and not just cool under pressure, but also had enough heart that somehow she could convince somebody that was really troubled that she cared about them. And I told her, I said, that not only did she make Michelle and me proud, but she probably saved a lot of lives, including the life of the potential perpetrator.
Oh, absolutely. She was calm in the face of the gunman. Yeah. Did she keep her calm when she got a call from the President of the United States?
She was pretty cool, too.
Was she?
She was happy about it.
Thank you, too. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope I get a chance to meet you also.
I think we might have to have her maybe make a visit to the White House.
So, well, that would be great for her. It would be a great way to reward the kind of behavior that we hope no person ever has to find themselves in.
Although, I've got to tell you, one of the things that you see, and one of the reasons I love these bus tours, you meet folks like this all across the country. Every single day they're doing incredible stuff. Usually it's not as spectacular, and the stakes aren't as high as this one. But, everywhere you go, you see people who are working hard, doing their jobs, looking after their families, but also giving back to the community. And, sometimes I think in Washington you lose sight of what exactly makes this country so great. It's not all the stuff that gets a lot of attention. It's that day-to-day courage, kindness, empathy that really makes a difference.
On New Day, we call it the good stuff. We do a story about it every day to reinforce the idea that people are out there going above and beyond.
I appreciate it.
So it works. It's my favorite part of the show. What is more daunting to you, the prospects of protecting the free world or dealing with a teenager and a near teen? What gives you more pause for concern?
Well, I got to tell you, and Michelle gets all the credit, Malia and Sasha are just doing great. They are poised, they're smart, they're funny, but most importantly, they're kind, they're respectful to everybody. I just couldn't be prouder of them. Now, what I'm discovering is that each year, I get more excited about spending time with them. They get a little less excited. But they love me, so they want to pretend like they want to spend time with me. So they'll come into to my office and they'll pat me, and say, "Hey, Daddy, I love you." And they'll give me like a 10-minute conversation, and then they'll say, "Okay, Daddy, I got to go. I'll be gone all weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday night."
Is that what the dog's about, the new dog?
I think there is an element for Michelle and me of, we see what's coming, and we need to make sure that we got somebody who greets us at the door when we get home. But part of it is also Bo. Bo was getting lonely because the two other puppies have grown up, and they still have some responsibilities for him, but they're not always around between school, sports practice, all that stuff. And so Bo was starting to look a little down in the dumps inside the house. And Sunny, the new dog, she's only a year old, and the truth is, she's faster than he is. She jumps higher. She's friskier, and
every man has to learn that, though.
He is trying to keep up, and ultimately, I think it's going to be great for him over the long term. Right now, Michelle is in full parenting mode and really focused on getting Sunny to sit and catch, and also there have been a couple accidents. And,
oh no!
Yeah.
Is that like a federal violation?
Well, it is true that, you know, we live in...
Because that's a national museum.
We live in rental housing. We didn't have to put down a deposit, but we are making sure that it gets cleaned up for the next occupant.
I love that you said it with a straight face. Is that a federal violation?
I'll tell you, it's also interesting, you know, when we cover the president and they have families, you know, you watch them grow up, and you remember the 2 little girls, and now how big they are, and obviously the president's living through that as well, in addition to having to take on all these responsibilities. So it's always good to get both sides of what's going on in his life as president and also as a proud papa. So when we come back, we're going to have much more with the president. What he has to say about the NSA spying program. Later in the show, we're going to talk about whether Americans' privacy is protected. He's going to weigh in on why there's so much gridlock in Washington. He does admit that the buck must stop with him. The question is, can he ever hope to break through?
Yeah, that's a good question. Coming up next on New Day, she left Google to become Yahoo's new CEO. Well, now she's leaving her former bosses in the dust, it appears. How Marissa Mayer is reshaping the battle for internet dominance.
And things go terribly wrong for this would-be robber in Brazil. He walks into a convenience store without a problem, but wait till you see how he leaves. Michaela's going to bring us our New Day must-see moment.
Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, don't do it. Don't.
Don't show it.
Good.